In ancient Egyptian mythology, Thoth is revered as the god of wisdom and knowledge, the keeper of records, and the preserver of divine understanding across the ages. When we study ancient myths and texts, it is essential to go beyond their literal meanings. These stories function as profound allegories that speak to our mental, spiritual, and physical dimensions, guiding personal growth, self-awareness, and consciousness. Themes found in sacred texts, such as the Bible, often intersect with these ideas, encouraging reflection on emotions, thought, and the journey of self-discovery. Thoth is closely associated with the human heart in Egyptian symbolism, reflecting the connection between wisdom and the heart, a concept also captured in phrases like knowing by heart. The heart holds invaluable treasures, from deep relationships to essential knowledge. Thoth's ibis-headed representation aligns with the sternum, the central bone of the ribcage that protects the heart. This underscores his role as guardian of wisdom, resonating with esoteric traditions that view the heart as the seat of true intelligence and spiritual insight. Legend attributes the writing of the Emerald Tablets to Thoth, which were said to be discovered beneath the pyramids. Beyond historical claims, this tale functions as a symbolic allegory. The green color of the tablets reflects the heart, aligning with the heart chakra in spiritual teachings. The heart, therefore, represents more than a physical organ. It embodies higher intelligence and consciousness. In this allegorical framework, the heart is like a tablet recording the story of our lives. According to Egyptian beliefs and teachings from secret societies like the Rosicrucians, each individual's heart carries a life script composed before entering the physical world. This script guides our existence, offering wisdom, direction, and inner insight. The chest, often referred to as a treasure chest, emphasizes that the true treasure is the wisdom and guidance within our hearts. Thoth, as the guardian of wisdom and bringer of alchemy, symbolizes the sternum, which protects the heart. His teachings emphasize harmonizing the heart and mind. By aligning emotional intelligence with intellectual understanding, we can achieve higher consciousness and spiritual growth, embodying the mysteries Thoth represents. When engaging with myths and ancient texts, it is crucial to approach them as allegories rather than literal accounts. These narratives were crafted to provoke thought, critical analysis, and deep reflection. Ancient civilizations, such as the Egyptians, employed symbolic language to ensure that seekers of knowledge engaged both their intellect and intuition. Their monumental achievements, the pyramids and temples, stand as testaments to extraordinary cognitive and creative sophistication. These physical structures originated as conceptual visions, reflecting a level of understanding that surpasses contemporary comprehension. Thoth is often depicted with the head of an ibis, a bird known for its meticulous search for food in the mud. This behavior mirrors humanity's pursuit of wisdom, delving into the unknown to uncover hidden truths. Just as the ibis probes murky waters for sustenance, we must explore the depths of our hearts and minds to gain insight and enlightenment. The ibis head also aligns with the sternum, emphasizing that the pursuit of knowledge requires protecting and engaging the core of our being. This symbolic representation highlights the effort and dedication needed to uncover hidden truths. The mud represents the unknown, and the ibis's search mirrors the process of engaging with the obscured aspects of life to extract meaningful knowledge for personal and collective growth. Egyptian symbolism further underscores the sacredness of life through the Ankh, often described as the symbol of life. The Ankh represents the female womb, the portal through which souls enter the physical realm. It highlights the indispensable role of women in the continuation of life. The womb, capable of transforming a single-celled organism into a fully developed human being, harnesses energies from the 7 classical planets: Sun, Mars, Jupiter, Moon, Mercury, Venus, Saturn, and the 5 elements of the material world. Life unfolds within this sacred magnetic vessel over 9 months, emphasizing the feminine principle as the master architect of creation. In this context, the woman can be seen as the master builder of Solomon's temple, Sol representing the sun, Mon representing the moon, symbolizing harmony between celestial forces. The temple, often interpreted as the human body, houses the divine presence, or mind. While man embodies the temple, it is the woman who completes it, giving life and nurturing the physical vessel through which divine consciousness can manifest. Women, through their creative and nurturing capacities, fulfill the sacred responsibility of constructing the human temple, linking celestial and material forces, and ensuring the continuation of life. This emphasizes the profound spiritual significance of the feminine principle in both creation and preservation. Nature itself offers a symbolic language for understanding wisdom and truth. As Job 12:7-12 states, "Ask the beasts, and they will teach you, the birds of the heavens, and they will tell you, or the bushes of the earth, and they will teach you, and the fish of the sea will declare to you." This does not imply literal communication but invites observation of natural forms and behaviors as reflections of universal truths. Serpents, with their spiraling movements, symbolize energy flow. Bulls and rams evoke fertility, memory, and navigation. Birds resemble neural structures, linking mind and body. The principle of as above, so below highlights the mirrored relationship between the macrocosm of the universe and the microcosm of our bodies. Finally, the spinal column serves as a ladder of consciousness, connecting survival instincts, intellectual growth, and spiritual awareness. From the base, which governs basic needs and earthly survival, to the higher regions associated with learning, emotion, and divine connection, the spine embodies the journey from physical man to spiritual man. It is a pathway that allows us to navigate all levels of consciousness, bridging the gap between earthly existence and enlightenment. Jacob lay on the ground and drifted into a dream. In this vision, he saw a ladder stretching from the earth all the way to heaven, with angels moving up and down its rungs. Above it stood the Lord, speaking to Jacob, promising him and his descendants the land beneath him. Yet beneath this story of divine promise lies a deeper symbolic truth, one that bridges the human body, consciousness, and the spiritual journey. The ground on which Jacob rested represents the lower states of awareness, the realm where humans are primarily conscious of their physical existence, focused on matter, sensation, and the external world, often unaware of the divine essence within. This state of being is tied to the limitations of the material plane, where body and mind dominate life, keeping the soul disconnected from its higher nature. The ladder itself emerges as a profound metaphor for the spinal column, regarded by many esoteric traditions as the central channel through which life energy and consciousness flow. It is the path of spiritual ascent, the bridge between earthly existence and higher awareness. The angels ascending and descending symbolize this dynamic exchange. The descending angels mirror the impulses of the mind guiding the body, orchestrating movement and function. The ascending angels carry sensory information upward, reporting the body's condition back to the brain. Through this continuous interaction, the spiritual and physical realms remain in harmony. Seen this way, the ladder represents the potential for awakening, for moving from a state of material consciousness toward unity with the divine. Standing at the top of the ladder, the Lord signifies the ultimate goal, the transcendent realization of one's true spiritual nature. Symbols have always been the language of the mind, reaching into the subconscious to convey truths that evade the literal eye. They serve as gateways to knowledge, accessible only to those willing to seek, learn, and perceive beyond the surface. In this light, every image, number, and form carries layers of meaning, connecting the material world to the unseen realms of thought and spirit. Ancient civilizations grasped this deeply. The Egyptians, for example, personified body parts as gods, recognizing that each organ and function held its own intelligence, sustaining life and connecting the individual to higher truths. They treated the human body as a temple, a sacred vessel reflecting divine design. Similarly, the ancient Hindus designed their temples as embodiments of the human body, mapping spiritual architecture onto physical form. The temple's entrance represented the feet, the beginning of the spiritual journey, the mandapa, the abdomen where preparation and gathering occurred, the sanctum sanctorum, the heart, where the divine presence resided, and the towering shikara, the head, reaching heavenward, symbolizing spiritual ascent. Through this sacred architecture, the human form became a mirror of divine principles, illustrating that the journey of the soul mirrors the design of the body itself. Temples were not only houses of worship but profound educational instruments, teaching the unity of human and cosmic order. The Temple of Solomon, for instance, symbolized the harmony of solar and lunar forces within a person, the integration of active and receptive energies that create spiritual wholeness. Likewise, the Luxor Temple, aligned with the proportions of the idealized human body, communicated the principle that humanity is a microcosm of the universe. Each chamber, entrance, and corridor corresponded to a stage of consciousness, guiding the initiates from the lower carnal mind at the feet to the heights of divine awareness at the head. Through symbolic architecture, sacred geometry, and proportion, these temples taught that the human body, consciousness, and the cosmos are inseparably intertwined. Throughout history, symbols and sacred structures have reflected the evolution of consciousness, showing the journey from mortal existence to divine realization. Humanity itself is a universe in miniature, a microcosm containing the principles of the macrocosm. Every journey into the material world is also a journey into understanding, a path of expansion, awakening, and ultimately, union with the divine essence that resides within. The sides of the head are called temples, often referred to as the upper room, the inner chamber, the land flowing with milk and honey, Mount Zion, the Lamb of God, or the cherubim. Job proclaimed, "Yet from my flesh I shall see God," hinting at the intimate connection between our physical form and divine perception. When the Bible says in Matthew that Jesus went into the temple of God, this is not merely about a physical building. He clarifies in 1 Corinthians, "Do you not know that you are the temple of God?" Here, the temple represents the sacred space within each person, the inner sanctuary where one can commune with the divine. When Jesus enters the temple, it symbolizes turning inward, focusing the mind, and seeking connection with the God within. Such communion requires stillness, the quieting of distractions, and the awakening of higher consciousness. After leaving the temple, he declares, "Not one stone here will be left on another, every one will be thrown down," emphasizing that physical structures, no matter how revered, are temporary. True worship and spiritual connection are not dependent on buildings. They arise when one enters the inner temple of the mind and engages with the divine presence within. Jesus reinforces this idea in Luke, pointing out that the key of knowledge is lost when people fail to turn inward. Spiritual insight and divine understanding can only be attained through inner exploration. In another teaching, he instructs, "When thou prayest, enter into thine inner chamber, and having shut thy door," illustrating that the inner chamber is the mind, and closing the door represents silencing thoughts that obstruct higher awareness. By turning inward and quieting the mental chatter, we open ourselves to the divine and allow consciousness to expand toward spiritual understanding. The Bible is a text rich in spiritual and psychological wisdom, encoded in parables and symbolic language, guiding the reader to interpret the teachings on a deeper, introspective level. Symbols are neutral tools, their meaning shaped by how they are used. For example, the symbol of Baphomet, often misinterpreted as evil, represents duality, balance, and the choices inherent in human existence. Its imagery, the flame on the head, the horns, the hands pointing up and down, the wings, and the moons, illustrates the interplay of material and spiritual, higher and lower consciousness, emotional balance, and the awakening potential of the human spirit. The flame signifies the activated kundalini, rising from the lower carnal mind toward higher consciousness. The horns represent duality and fertility, the hands express the principle as above, so below, the wings symbolize intellect and the higher mind, and the moons reflect the balance and regulation of emotion. Together, they map a journey of transformation, illustrating how one navigates the inner and outer worlds in pursuit of self-realization. The Bible also encodes lessons about the right hemisphere of the brain, the seat of holistic perception and spiritual insight. In John, when the disciples are told to cast the net on the right side of the boat represents the mind, and the act directs awareness to the right brain. The fish they catch symbolize deep spiritual knowledge, while the number 153, reduced numerologically to 9, represents completeness, the fulfillment of human consciousness, and the potential for enlightenment. Michelangelo's depiction of God in the Sistine Chapel further emphasizes this connection, with God's form echoing the human brain, particularly the right hemisphere, where holistic perception resides, offering a lens through which to understand unity with the divine. Hebrews echoes this concept, presenting the high priest seated at the right hand, symbolizing the elevated consciousness and spiritual insight available through right brain perception. The right hemisphere integrates perception into a unified whole, merging sight, sound, and sensation into a cohesive experience, while the left hemisphere analyzes and divides. The left embodies the ego and the practical, analytical mind. The right fosters awareness of interconnectedness, holistic understanding, and unity with higher consciousness. Heaven, then, is not merely a distant place after death but a state to be realized within the present body and mind. The Bible's teachings, cloaked in parables, guide us in harmonizing the physical with the spiritual, the ego with higher consciousness, revealing the kingdom of heaven within us. The inner temple, the inner kingdom, is accessed through self-awareness, balance, and recognition of divine presence within. The parables encourage us to engage critically with our consciousness, decipher symbolic teachings, and awaken to the divine spark residing in every aspect of our being. The Bible, in this light, is less a historical account and more a map for spiritual awakening, guiding the soul toward integration, enlightenment, and the realization of God within. In Christianity, tithing is traditionally understood as giving 10% of one's income or resources to support the church and its ministries, a practice rooted in the Old Testament, meant to sustain the religious community and provide for those who served in the temple. Yet, beyond this outward, material interpretation, tithing carries a deeper, esoteric meaning. At its core, tithing is a symbolic act, offering a part of ourselves, not to an institution, but to the divine essence that resides within us. It is the conscious dedication of our inner resources, the energies of mind and spirit, to the higher self. Human awareness is divided between the subconscious and conscious mind. The subconscious, comprising roughly 90% of mental activity, operates beneath awareness, driving much of our automatic behavior. The conscious mind, the remaining 10%, is analytical and active, constantly processing thoughts and sensory input. This ceaseless activity often obscures the serene, undisturbed state of pure consciousness where spiritual insight and connection emerge. True tithing, then, is the symbolic offering of this 10%, the conscious mind, by setting aside the distractions and chatter that dominate daily life. Meditation exemplifies this practice. As we quiet the mind, release ego-driven thoughts, and let go of preoccupations, we create space to connect with the divine within, allowing higher consciousness to awaken. In this sense, tithing is not about material wealth but about consciously relinquishing the dominance of the active mind to make room for spiritual clarity and insight. The ego, in contrast, represents the mind's self-concept operating within the physical body. Shaped by experiences, beliefs, achievements, and social roles, the ego is the persona we identify with in the material world. At birth, it is absent. Newborns embody pure consciousness, expressing the authentic self. Over time, life experiences mold the ego, turning it into a construct of comparison, compulsion, and control. The ego resists change, clings to old beliefs, and fosters criticism or grudges. Its very name echoes its function. It is an echo, a superficial layer covering the essence of the soul. In religious teachings, this lower mind has often been personified as the devil, a figure symbolizing the pull of physical pleasures, material desires, and ego-driven impulses that obscure the authentic self. By understanding that the devil is not an external force but a part of our own consciousness, we reclaim power and responsibility, recognizing that we are the architects of our reality, capable of choosing alignment with the divine or surrender to the ego. The Bible frequently frames these inner struggles symbolically. The term spirit of evil, rather than devil, reflects forces of negativity inherent within the mind, destructive thoughts, emotions, and actions arising from the lower nature. Color symbolism reinforces this understanding. Red, often associated with the devil, represents chaotic emotions such as anger and hatred, as well as the root chakra, tied to survival instincts and primal desires. The goat, commonly depicted with the devil, embodies stubbornness, earthly desires, and instinctual drives. These symbols are not warnings about external entities but mirrors of our internal tendencies. When left unchecked, the ego and its impulses dominate, creating chaos in our personal lives and in the world. Fear-based religious teachings often externalize these forces, discouraging individuals from recognizing their own inner power, while fostering disempowerment and low-frequency states of consciousness. This framework extends to the allegory of Lucifer's fall. Often called the light-bringer, Lucifer represents the divine potential within every individual. His fall from heaven to earth symbolizes the moment when the five senses dominate consciousness, allowing primal desires to govern thought and action. Sensory indulgence, greed, lust, or unrestrained pleasure, marks a descent into a state metaphorically described as hell, where higher reasoning and spiritual awareness are eclipsed. Mastery of the senses, on the other hand, restores balance, aligning the mind with the higher self and enabling spiritual illumination. The pentacle, or five-pointed star, symbolizes this dynamic. With the spirit at the top, it represents guidance and divine alignment. Inverted, it signifies the dominance of carnal instincts, often associated with satanic imagery. The goat in this context reflects attachment to earthly desires, a mind consumed by materialism rather than spiritual awakening. Thus, those who venerate externalized figures of Satan or the devil are, in essence, worshipping the lower mind, the part of consciousness absorbed by sensory pleasure, ego, and materialism. Their focus on immediate gratification prioritizes the flesh over the spirit, the ego over the higher self. True spiritual growth, however, arises from turning inward, offering the mind in tithing, mastering the senses, and transcending ego-driven impulses. By doing so, one reconnects with the divine essence within, transforming the lower nature into a vessel for higher consciousness and spiritual enlightenment. The head serves as the seal of heavenly consciousness, the center of our higher mind. Each chakra functions as a mini-brain, providing a unique consciousness to the organs within its sphere. For example, the stomach and genital organs possess their own awareness. This is why the saying "you think with your penis" holds symbolic truth. The lower centers of consciousness can drive thoughts and impulses. However, when we allow our higher, brain-centered consciousness to act in harmony with these lower impulses, we achieve alignment. When we raise our awareness and act from the higher centers, the mind and body work together in harmony, guided not by base instincts like food, sex, or power, but by love, wisdom, and enlightenment. We have two heels and one head, a symbolic reflection of the division between lower and higher consciousness. The head, spherical in shape, represents the eternal, invisible intelligence, the spirit itself, and the oneness of the higher mind. The heels, in contrast, ground us to the earth, symbolizing the lower carnal mind. When the higher consciousness is disconnected from the bodily awareness, we experience division. In this state, behavior is instinctual, the gut drives hunger, the genitals drive lust, and the solar plexus drives the desire for power. Consciousness, in this context, dwells in hell, acting from lower instincts rather than spiritual awareness. This is why, in Islamic traditions, cleansing the feet before prayer is a symbolic act of purifying the mind from lower, animalistic thoughts. As Christ instructed in John 13:14, "If I then, your Lord and teacher, have washed your feet, you also ought to wash one another's feet." The I and the letter I carry deep symbolic meaning across civilizations. The single I represents the eye of consciousness, the observer within. While physical eyes perceive the outer world, the inner eye perceives inwardly, granting understanding, insight, and spiritual awareness. The pronoun I points to the divine consciousness within each of us, unique yet one with the universal mind. Our bodies are not the owners of our actions. The I am within, our higher consciousness, is the true possessor and guide. The letter I as the 9th character in the English alphabet is no coincidence. 9 symbolizes the culmination of human consciousness. In John 8:58, Jesus declares, "Before Abraham was, I am," pointing to timeless, formless consciousness, the source of awareness itself. In Matthew 16, Jesus asks, "Who do men say that the Son of Man is?" After hearing their responses, he asks, "But who do you say that I am?" Peter replies, "You are the Christ, the Son of the living God." Here, the Son of Man is linked to the I, the inner sense of awareness, the I am consciousness that defines human experience. Words like inside, internal, and intelligence reflect this inner aspect, the invisible self. True humanity is not the body but consciousness, the capacity to perceive, understand, and awaken. Without perception, we are vessels of flesh, devoid of intelligence. Meditation is the gateway to accessing this inner consciousness, the kingdom of heaven within. By quieting the mind, we create space for subtler layers of awareness, often obscured by incessant thinking. Psalm 46:10 instructs, "Be still, and know that I am God." This stillness is not about external deity but about recognizing the divine presence within our own consciousness. Similarly, in Matthew 6:34, Jesus advises, "Take therefore no thought," emphasizing the importance of silencing mental chatter to connect with the inner source of power. Repetition of this teaching, particularly in reference to the 5 physical senses, highlights a symbolic sacrifice, letting go of sensory reliance and thought-driven limitations to access higher spiritual awareness. True meditation is not bound to method but is achieved through complete stillness. Only when the mind is free from attachment to thoughts, emotions, and desires can we transcend physical and mental constraints and connect with the divine essence. In this state, profound truths emerge, illuminating our lives and guiding our actions. The benefits of meditation are transformative. Regular practice cultivates self-awareness, reduces emotional reactivity, and fosters mental clarity. By observing thoughts without attachment, we regulate emotions, enhance decision-making, and reduce anxiety. Meditation fosters a grounded sense of self, sharpens mental focus, and strengthens control over one's actions. Over time, it cultivates lasting inner peace, happiness, and clarity, empowering the practitioner to pursue goals with intention and presence. The journey of meditation involves traversing layers of experience, activity, thought, and emotion. These layers must be gently quieted to reach the core, the essence of pure consciousness. Thoughts and emotions are observed, not clung to, allowing them to pass like clouds across the sky. In this state of centeredness, the meditator enters the inner kingdom, the eternal and undisturbed realm of awareness described in the scriptures. The outer distractions fade, and the inner I am emerges, offering connection, clarity, and enlightenment. The process is simple yet profound. Sit, be still, observe, and let go. Through meditation, we step into a higher state of consciousness, aligning body, mind, and spirit in harmony, and awakening to the divine presence that resides within us all. The traditional lotus position, rooted in the teachings of Buddha, is far more than a meditative posture. It is a practice that harmonizes the flow of energy within and around the body. Sitting with arms and legs closely aligned, the body creates an efficient channel for electrical energy to circulate, connecting seamlessly with the etheric energy that surrounds us. In this alignment, the internal energy merges with the external, forming a complete and balanced circuit. When hands, feet, and legs engage in this circuit, energy flows freely and is retained, offering profound effects on the body and mind, enhancing healing, boosting blood circulation, and increasing overall well-being. Improved circulation ensures that more oxygen reaches the brain, sharpening cognition and mental clarity. For advanced practitioners, completing this energetic circuit allows focused attention to direct energy intentionally, whether for healing, raising vitality, or deepening spiritual awareness. The lotus posture also aligns the spine at a perfect 90-degree angle with the earth, alleviating gravitational pressure and allowing the body to rest in equilibrium. With the spine properly aligned and the body's energy circuit activated, consciousness settles into a dynamic field of energy, stable and centered. By directing awareness inward, energy is conserved and harnessed. The saying "where attention goes, energy flows" captures this idea perfectly. When the mind turns inward, it connects with the pure awareness at the core of being, aligning with the source consciousness that forms the essence of who we are. By embracing this inner light, consciousness can guide life with clarity and intention, rather than being scattered by the distractions of the senses and the external world. When attention is fixated on external concerns, especially negative or stressful ones, the electromagnetic field is drained. Focusing on anxieties or negative thoughts amplifies that energy, often worsening the very problems one seeks to resolve. Allowing energy to scatter diminishes inner reserves and severs connection to the inner guidance that leads to purpose and fulfillment. Turning inward, therefore, is not simply self-preservation. It is a conscious effort to direct energy toward higher awareness and self-realization. This inward focus strengthens the electromagnetic field, aligning it with the wisdom within, and empowers the manifestation of one's true purpose, rather than being led astray by fleeting external stimuli. Connecting with the true self can be deepened through meditation practices that shed layers of identity. Closing the eyes, one can mentally list the elements of identity, name, body, beliefs, thoughts, and emotional attachments, and then gradually release each layer. Starting with the name, moving to the body, worries, and beliefs, the ego's constructs peel away, revealing the inner voice stripped of labels and attachments. Detaching from language and thought further dissolves the mind's constructs, leaving an essence beyond words, a force, infinite energy, or pure causal consciousness. This formless, boundless I is the true self, the eternal source within, a spark of power that underlies all existence. Regular practice cultivates self-awareness and a deep connection to this core essence, transforming life and allowing the true self to manifest in every action. The word I refers to the highest aspect within, the divine presence residing at the core of being. It signifies the ultimate, unchanging essence of who we are, the pure awareness connecting us to the greater whole. The teachings of Jesus echo this truth. Before Abraham was, I am, speaks to a consciousness beyond time, form, and identity, the eternal presence that precedes all existence. I and the Father are one reinforces the unity of the divine within each of us, showing that the I am inside is inseparable from God, the ultimate source of all being. Biblical imagery, such as ascending into clouds or meeting the Lord in the air, symbolizes the elevation of consciousness beyond the physical, where the mind quiets and the spirit aligns with divine presence. The air represents mind, and to connect with the divine, consciousness must rise above physical distraction into clarity and stillness. In Buddhist symbolism, the Buddha's varying depictions, from slender to large-bellied, hold profound meaning. The large belly represents the abdominal engagement in breathwork, a key practice in meditation. Proper breathing activates muscles of the head, neck, thorax, and abdomen, expanding consciousness, promoting healing, and elevating energy. Breath carries magnetic qualities, connecting the body to the broader energy field. Focused breathwork amplifies this magnetic energy, raising overall vitality and strengthening the aura. Cultivating this energy is essential for connecting with higher states of consciousness, illustrating why the Buddha's depiction with a large belly serves as a reminder of breathwork's power in spiritual development. True meditation transcends the mind's activity, moving beyond thoughts, emotions, and sensory experience to connect with pure awareness. Beginners often struggle because the mind is conditioned for constant activity, trapped in surface-level analysis and the material world. Consciousness includes thought, emotion, memory, and imagination, existing on a metaphysical plane beyond the physical brain. Through meditation, the mind can be silenced, opening access to intuition, insight, and higher awareness. By mastering the mind, one gains control over emotions, desires, and actions, shaping reality with intention rather than being driven by impulses. Conserved mental energy can then be redirected toward personal growth, success, and positive influence on others. Meditation becomes a tool for self-transformation, aligning the inner state with the true purpose and fostering a life of clarity, peace, and fulfillment. When attention turns inward, energy that would otherwise scatter outward is contained and strengthened. Focused inward flow enhances clarity, concentration, and awareness, unlocking the deeper dimensions of consciousness and allowing one to live from the center of their being, fully aligned with the source of life and light. Have you ever felt the subtle shift in a room when someone walks in, or noticed the lightness in your chest after a walk through nature? These fleeting moments hint at something unseen, an energy field that envelops us, reflecting our inner state and responding to the world around us. This field flows through everything, from the vast cosmos to the tiniest atoms within us. It is life itself. Yet, for most, it remains a mystery, elusive and largely unexplored. Some mornings, we awaken burdened, as if the weight of the world already presses upon us. Imagine, though, the possibility of transforming that same energy into boundless vitality, strength, and clarity. Throughout history, sages and mystics have described the mind's profound connection to this energy, teaching that by mastering our thoughts, we can shape reality itself. Some perceive the energy as a tingling vibration, others as a subtle hum, while many remain unaware of it altogether. Regardless of perception, its truth persists. Consider the tales of enlightened sages who, through disciplined practice, could bend the flow of energy, manifesting feats once deemed impossible. To begin this journey, one must first understand magnetism, the invisible force that threads through all existence. From distant stars to the particles within our bodies, magnetism shapes the universe, and our own magnetic field mirrors our thoughts and emotions. When in harmony, it nurtures well-being. When distorted by stress or illness, it signals imbalance. Mastery begins by recognizing the immense power of our mind. As Lao Tzu said, thoughts shape reality, setting a ripple through the energy field. Like an alchemist, we learn to blend our emotions and intentions, transmuting the energy around us. The first step is simple yet profound. Observe your thoughts without judgment, as clouds drifting across the sky. Notice recurring patterns, and gently redirect your focus toward thoughts aligned with your highest intentions. Magnetic visualization is a powerful tool in this process. By imagining and shaping magnetic energy, projecting vitality and intention outward, we can influence the energy field within and around us, subtly shaping the course of our reality. In practice, this involves finding a quiet space, closing your eyes, and breathing deeply, allowing yourself to imagine being enveloped in a luminous aura brimming with life and positivity. Daily dedication to this visualization strengthens your energetic presence effortlessly, manifesting your intentions in harmony with the universe. Emotional mastery is inseparable from this work. Emotions act as a barometer of alignment. They reflect whether your thoughts are in harmony with your true desires. Like seeds in a garden, thoughts and emotions shape your energetic environment. By practicing mindfulness and self-awareness, investigating the roots of negativity, and reclaiming your power to respond consciously, your mind and heart can radiate light. This mastery is not domination over others but a deep attunement to the natural flow of life, trusting its wisdom to guide your journey. Cultivating mental stillness allows one to attune to the subtle vibrations of the energy field, wielding its power with precision. In Taoist philosophy, this state is called Wu-Wei, effortless action in harmony with the universe. Aligning with the natural flow, we allow events to unfold organically, free from resistance, and peel away the layers of conditioning that obscure our true self. Awareness of thoughts and emotions leads to inner harmony, the alignment of mind, heart, and action. Like a perfectly tuned chord, this coherence radiates power and presence, attracting positivity, abundance, and experiences that resonate with our authentic self. Meditation, yoga, tai chi, qigong, and breathwork are tools that cultivate this harmony, harmonizing energy and fostering balance, peace, and well-being. As this inner equilibrium grows, the energy field becomes a beacon. Gratitude, presence, and mindfulness amplify this resonance, drawing synchronicities, opportunities, and connections that mirror our authentic self. Harmonizing with the flow of the universe is a dance of surrender, not relinquishing control but letting life unfold naturally. In this surrender, life's currents guide us effortlessly, revealing the infinite intelligence and abundance inherent in all creation. With time, the realization dawns that all of existence is interconnected. We are not separate entities but indivisible expressions of the same divine essence. This unity consciousness, reflected in ancient symbols like Indra's net or expressed in the Advaita mantra Tat Tvam Asi, cultivates compassion, empathy, and love. Recognizing the divine spark within ourselves and others transforms relationships and interactions, creating a ripple effect of healing and joy. Each act of unconditional love, forgiveness, and presence reinforces this web of connection, and our energy field radiates light that touches others, inspiring and uplifting them. To radiate love and light is not merely to act or speak with kindness, it is a state of being. It is embodying compassion, generosity, and understanding at the core of our existence. Unconditional love transcends ego, seeing perfection in every soul despite imperfections. Forgiveness releases the weight of resentment, and presence creates a space where others feel valued and understood. Through these practices, the energy field transforms into a powerful magnet for positivity, aligning us with experiences, people, and opportunities that reflect our highest vibrations. Living in harmony with our authentic self grants deep peace, fulfillment, and the ability to navigate life's challenges with grace and resilience. The journey of mastering the energy field is ultimately a journey of self-realization. From understanding the power of thoughts to embodying unity consciousness, each step draws us closer to the recognition of our inherent divinity. Integrating these principles opens us to boundless possibilities, transforming how we exist in the world. We become vessels of love and light, radiating outward with every breath, a living expression of the infinite, touching hearts, uplifting spirits, and co-creating a world aligned with the highest good. God, the supreme architect of the universe, has woven his fingerprints into the intricate patterns of nature. Philosophers have long suggested that these divine secrets are intentionally hidden, accessible only to those who are ready to perceive them. The natural world, from the delicate symmetry of a flower's petals to the towering majesty of trees, and the infinite variety of life, is suffused with geometric principles that hint at the mathematical underpinnings of reality. These patterns act as a bridge between the seen and unseen, pointing to an intelligent design beneath the apparent chaos of the world. Geometry, in essence, is the physical manifestation of vibrational frequencies, a frequency frozen in time. Each frequency produces its own unique geometric pattern, visible through experiments in cymatics. Place sand on a flat metal plate and vibrate it at a specific frequency, and the grains arrange themselves into intricate shapes corresponding to the vibrations. Sound, then, forms the foundation of all physical existence, echoing the biblical declaration, "In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God," John 1:1. Through sound, energy is structured, binding matter and giving form to the physical world. In sacred geometry, straight lines reflect masculine energy, while curves, circles, and flowing forms embody the feminine. This interplay is echoed in the human body, where masculine and feminine forms express these geometric principles. The Vesica Piscis, for example, represents the torus field, the atom that manifests the third dimension, and serves as a symbol of creation itself. Two overlapping circles meet at their centers, illustrating the transition from divine unity to physical manifestation through duality. This movement generates electricity, attraction and repulsion, the dynamic interplay of opposites, from which new life emerges. The Vesica Piscis is reflected in the female body as the yoni, the gateway through which spirit enters matter. Every living being passes through this portal. Similarly, our eyes contain this geometry, acting as portals through which light enters and consciousness experiences the material realm. In essence, the Vesica Piscis manifests wherever the divine intersects with the physical, wherever spirit meets form. The human brain and hands provide another window into divine design. Place your hands together, side by side, and they mirror the brain's structure, a reflection not merely symbolic but deeply functional. The brain's left and right hemispheres control opposite sides of the body, a phenomenon called contralateral control. The left hemisphere, analytical and logical, governs the right hand, while the right hemisphere, creative and spatial, governs the left. The hands, rich in nerves and dexterity, are extensions of the brain's complexity, allowing it to interact with the world. Clasping the hands together, as in prayer, is more than ritual, it aligns the brain hemispheres, creating a closed electrical circuit that allows energy to flow freely. This practice, known to ancient sages, harmonizes masculine and feminine qualities within the mind, calms mental turbulence, and establishes the ideal conditions for deep meditation and heightened awareness. The heart, too, is more than a pump. While modern science describes it as a simple circulatory device, visionaries like Rudolf Steiner and Manly P. Hall proposed a different perspective. The heart functions as a vortex energy generator. Observations of embryonic blood flow show spiraling streams that exist before the heart even begins to beat, suggesting that the heart does not push blood by pressure but enhances the inherent momentum of circulation. Its structure resembles a chestahedron, a seven-sided form whose spinning generates a vortex, and its muscular fibers are arranged in spiraling patterns. Blood itself, composed largely of plasma, becomes energized in this vortex motion, supporting vitality and the body's bioenergy field. Everything in the physical world has a magnetic field, from the tiniest particle to the Earth itself. The Earth's magnetic field nourishes life, sustaining plants, animals, and humans. Our hearts are intimately connected to this field. The word heart is an anagram of Earth, reflecting the deep resonance between human life and the planet. The green of the Earth mirrors the heart chakra, while the blue of the sky corresponds to the throat chakra, reinforcing this symbolic and energetic connection. Through the Earth's energy, our hearts are energized, and in turn, they energize our entire being, sustaining life through a continuous flow of magnetic vitality. From the spiraling geometry of blood within the heart to the sacred patterns mirrored in our bodies, nature reveals the intelligence and symmetry of creation. Every line, vortex, and rhythm is a clue, an invitation to recognize the divine architecture woven into all things. When we attune to these patterns, through meditation, observation, and reverence, we begin to glimpse the harmony underlying the universe and the profound connection between ourselves, the earth, and the infinite intelligence that guides all life. The heart is far more than a simple energy generator that pumps blood charged with plasma. It is a central hub of our emotional and conscious life. As explored earlier, consciousness is multi-layered, encompassing imagination, thought, memory, and emotions. Among these, the connection between the heart and our emotional experiences is especially profound. Modern research reveals that the heart contains approximately 40,000 specialized neurons, cells structurally identical to those in the brain. This intrinsic cardiac nervous system forms a complex network within the heart itself, suggesting that the heart operates as an emotional brain, capable of processing information independently of the cranial brain. This insight transforms our understanding of the heart. It is not merely a mechanical pump but a vital organ governing our emotional awareness. While the cranial brain manages intellect, analysis, and cognition, the heart embodies emotional intelligence, shaping how we feel, perceive, and respond to experiences. In essence, the brain governs our rational mind, while the heart directs the emotional landscape of consciousness. The interplay between the two reveals a deeper integration of mind, heart, and consciousness than traditionally recognized. Every thought sparks electrical impulses in the brain, triggering neural activity that generates emotional responses in the heart. Thoughts, in other words, directly influence the heart, shaping our emotional state. This relationship echoes the ancient wisdom, as above, so below, as within, so without. The mind's inner landscape manifests in the heart, which in turn radiates into the world, influencing our interactions and experiences. Matthew 6:10 states, "Your kingdom come, your will be done, on earth as it is in heaven." This teaching reflects the alignment between divine will and earthly reality, paralleling the heart-mind connection. What occurs in our inner consciousness shapes what is felt and expressed in our hearts. Our will, the inner force that drives intentions, decisions, and actions, emerges from the heart. Often called the seat of the soul, the heart is the source of love, compassion, and authentic purpose. True willpower arises not from rational thought alone but from emotional intelligence and the deep knowing that flows from heart consciousness. When our actions align with this inner guidance, we manifest our deepest intentions into reality. Accessing our authentic will, however, requires navigating layers of emotional conditioning, unresolved trauma, and habitual thought patterns. Only when the intellect and emotional heart are harmonized can we fully connect with our true will, acting from alignment and purpose rather than fear, habit, or external influence. Heart intelligence represents the essence of our being, the reservoir of our deepest self, where our life purpose resides and from which inner guidance flows. The soul embodies unconditional love, evident from birth. Newborns instinctively show compassion and empathy. They enter the world uncorrupted by hate, prejudice, or malice. Societal conditioning and experiences can obscure this innate purity, but it remains accessible through reconnection with heart consciousness. The heart is also the source of our moral compass. It signals when we act in alignment with or against our higher nature. Acts of kindness and compassion bring joy and fulfillment, whereas harmful behavior evokes discomfort and disharmony. This dynamic reflects the profound truth that the heart is intrinsically linked to universal consciousness. Even when clouded by negative conditioning, the heart retains its capacity for love and empathy, echoing biblical affirmations, that Christ may dwell in your hearts and God's love has been poured into our hearts, Romans 5:5, Ephesians 3:17. The heart is the wellspring of our actions, words, and intentions. When it is filled with love, our communication reflects truth, compassion, and authenticity. Beyond emotions, the heart governs the body's electromagnetic field, or biofield, which surrounds and permeates the physical form. Every cell, organ, and system contributes to this field, and the heart is its central regulator. Healthy cells generate stronger vibrations, reinforcing the strength of the overall biofield. The heart communicates in the universal language of energy, vibration, and frequency, acting as the nucleus of this living electromagnetic system. Its power is staggering. Magnetically, the heart is roughly 5,000 times stronger than the brain, and electrically, 10,000 times more potent. Its electromagnetic influence governs the body's energy field, making it a critical determinant of vitality, balance, and well-being. Emotions, essentially energy and motion, emanate from the heart, extending into the biofield and influencing our interactions with the world. Positive emotions such as love, gratitude, and authenticity expand and strengthen the energy field, while negative emotions like fear, anger, and hatred weaken it. A strong, vibrant energy field acts as a protective barrier, shielding against harmful external influences and maintaining internal equilibrium. Conversely, a weakened field leaves us vulnerable to negativity, both energetic and environmental. Ephesians 6:11-13 teaches, "Put on the full armor of God, so that you can take your stand against the devil's schemes." This passage refers not to physical armor but to an energetic and spiritual shield, a high-frequency energy field that protects against negative influences. By nurturing physical health, balanced emotions, and spiritual awareness, we strengthen this protective field. Positive states of consciousness, love, gratitude, compassion, fortify the biofield, making it less susceptible to harmful energies. In essence, the armor of God is the energy field cultivated through heart-centered living, harmonizing body, mind, and spirit in alignment with divine purpose. The heart resonates with the Earth's magnetic field, attuned to frequencies that mirror human heartbeats and brainwaves, a modern reflection of the ancient principle, as above, so below. Every living organism generates its own vibrational field, with the heart acting as the primary receptor and transmitter of environmental energy. Research shows that the heart often detects changes in the surroundings before the brain, allowing us to intuitively sense the energy of people or places. Statements like "I like this person's energy" acknowledge the heart's capacity to perceive and respond to vibrational frequencies. Through resonance, the heart shapes reality by aligning with frequencies that reflect our emotions and intentions. Focusing on love, gratitude, and positivity aligns the heart with higher vibrations, attracting similar energies from the environment. Conversely, dwelling on fear or anger resonates with lower frequencies, amplifying negative experiences. The heart even carries a unique electromagnetic signature, storing emotional memories that can influence behavior, a phenomenon sometimes observed in heart transplant recipients, who occasionally inherit traits or preferences from their donors. In essence, the heart is both a receptor and transmitter of energy, continuously interacting with internal and external forces. It is the core of our consciousness in motion, bridging the inner and outer worlds, and shaping our experiences through the language of energy, vibration, and frequency. When an individual's energy field is balanced and healthy, it acts as a powerful protective shield for the body. This vitality is nurtured through a holistic approach, consuming nutrient-rich, electrically active foods, cultivating positive thoughts, and fostering uplifting emotions. A person who is mentally, physically, and emotionally healthy develops a robust energy field that supports overall well-being. This energetic shield strengthens the body's ability to resist infections, recover from injuries, and maintain optimal organ function. It compensates for deficiencies and accelerates the healing of wounds, bones, and tissues. By caring for this energy field, one ensures it continues to serve as a guardian, sustaining life and health. The heart is the primary generator of this energy internally, while the sun nourishes it externally. The sun's electromagnetic radiation is essential not only for light but for sustaining all life on Earth. Its energy influences the growth of plants and the vitality of living organisms, varying with the seasons, stronger in summer and weaker in winter. Solar energy enters the body through the crown of the head, spreads throughout the system, and is released through the lower centers, continuously purified and revitalized by the heart and sunlight to maintain harmony between internal and external energies. The energy field, however, can be weakened by exposure to unnatural foods, negative thoughts, harmful emotions, substance abuse, and unhealthy lifestyle choices. Because consciousness is deeply intertwined with this field, our thoughts, emotions, words, and actions directly influence its integrity. A compromised energy field diminishes vitality, increasing susceptibility to illness, environmental stressors, and physical strain, and over time, can reduce resilience and lifespan. Maintaining a balanced lifestyle is therefore essential for preserving the strength and integrity of the energy field, which in turn supports health and longevity. Morality is closely linked to the energy field. True morality arises from obedience to the divine laws embedded within creation, inscribed in the heart as an inner compass. Acting in alignment with these natural moral laws fosters peace, vitality, and harmony, while acting against them generates dissonance and weakens the energy field. Virtue strengthens the magnetic field around the body, vice diminishes it. Goodness is not a matter of following external rules but living in harmony with the innate laws written in the heart. By nurturing this inner moral compass, we fortify our energy field, enhancing physical, mental, and spiritual health. Conversely, when we act against these principles, through selfishness, vice, or harmful words and deeds, we degrade our magnetic field. Every action that violates integrity reduces the strength of the energy surrounding us. Proverbs 4:23 emphasizes this, stating, "Above all else, guard your heart, for it is the wellspring of life." Emotional states such as peace or envy directly impact physical health, as noted in Proverbs 14:30. A heart at peace gives life to the body, but envy rots the bones. The heart generates and channels emotional energy throughout the body's field. A heart filled with goodness strengthens it, while negative emotions and actions weaken it. Cultivating positive emotions and living according to inner principles is essential for maintaining a strong, resilient energy field. Balancing the mind and heart requires self-awareness and practices that integrate cognitive and emotional faculties. Journaling helps articulate experiences, clarify thoughts, and reflect on emotions, providing insights into the interplay of mind and heart. Seeking guidance from therapists, counselors, or trusted mentors offers perspective and tools for harmonizing these aspects of the self. Developing emotional intelligence through empathy, emotional regulation, and effective communication allows the heart's insights to complement the intellect. Mindfulness meditation enhances awareness of thoughts, emotions, and bodily sensations, promoting a centered, balanced state. Cognitive behavioral techniques identify and reshape unhelpful thought patterns, fostering constructive emotional responses. Alternating between analytical and creative activities strengthens both rational and intuitive faculties, promoting holistic self-integration. Over time, consistent practice cultivates balance, resilience, and a harmonious connection between mind, heart, and the surrounding world. The famous Christian ritual of the sign of the cross, symbolizing the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, can also be interpreted as a gesture illustrating the division between heart and brain. Beginning at the forehead, moving to the chest, and finishing at each shoulder, this gesture may metaphorically represent the disruption of the heart-brain connection. When heart and brain are misaligned, individuals may act without empathy, moral awareness, or guidance from the inner self, potentially misdirecting creative potential. True integration of mind and heart enables sound decisions, emotional clarity, moral discernment, and spiritual insight, allowing for a harmonious expression of love, compassion, and wisdom. Within every individual resides a neutral, divine consciousness that shapes thought, action, and emotion. This consciousness itself is neither good nor evil, its manifestation depends on how it is directed. The mind is the tool through which creativity and intention flow, bringing ideas into physical reality. Goodness or evil arises not from the consciousness itself but from how the mind applies its power. Misuse of this creative potential leads to destructive outcomes, while alignment with divine principles fosters positive manifestation. Maintaining a pure and mindful mental state is essential, as thoughts influence actions and the external world. What we see, hear, and internalize shapes our consciousness, which in turn shapes our lives. Just as the three wise monkeys, see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil, symbolize the influence of sensory input on consciousness, we must cultivate awareness and mindfulness to direct our inner power toward creation, positivity, and alignment with our true potential. By elevating our thoughts and actions, we embody the divine within ourselves, taking responsibility for our own growth and transformation rather than relying on external sources for salvation or guidance. Achieving perfection or understanding higher frequencies requires consistent alignment of mind, heart, and actions. You're going into prayer asking for nothing. You're not praying to request things, you're praying to give thanks. Even when we set altars, for example, to communicate with our ancestors, that isn't a worship situation. We don't worship our ancestors, we have conversations with them. And within those conversations, there may be moments where we ask for help fixing things we need assistance with in this life. When the matter is personal, you utilize your ancestors within your immediate generational line, your blood relatives, typically 4 generations back. You speak with them directly, reason with them, and determine how they can best assist you. But if the matter goes beyond self, if it's about helping others, say children in Africa or something on that scale, then the request shifts. That's when you would utilize your higher ancestral structures, because those entities are concerned with the bigger picture, the environment, nature, the planet, and the governing systems of existence. In that case, you don't approach them directly. You use your blood ancestors as intermediaries. Your ancestors act as the routing system, the connectors that take your request to the correct place within existence and sound. That way, when you're calling upon specific names, tones, and frequencies, other entities that don't belong to that channel can't jump in, interfere, manipulate the message, alter the request, or distort the response. These are inherent dangers within the natural environment. The rules are the rules, they can't be changed. Everything acts according to its nature. Think of a farmer with fertile soil. Whatever is planted will grow. The soil doesn't judge intention. You can grow apples to feed people, or poppies that get turned into drugs and destroy communities. The soil will still do what soil does. In the same way, universal laws operate without moral judgment. Whether something is used positively or negatively depends on human intention. That's why intention and action must match. You can't pretend to be good. Either you're acting in alignment with what's right, or you're not. The only true judge of that alignment is you. You know whether your intentions are genuine. You can chant, pray, or perform rituals, but if your mind is elsewhere, thinking about video games or distractions, then intention and action are out of sync, and the work carries no real weight. Balance between intention and action is essential. This brings us to the idea of the reapent cycle. One of the reasons a soul may return is to correct a major regret, typically a fork in the road decision. You choose path A instead of path B, and that choice creates years of chaos. Every so often, the memory resurfaces, tied to a certain time or emotion, and it causes a glitch in your life narrative, like a scratch on a vinyl record that keeps skipping at the same spot. That unresolved regret distorts the continuity of your existence. Not everyone is granted a reapent cycle, but if one is granted, you are born back. If you pass through the pale white light, you enter a new life entirely. But if you pass through the multicolored spiral, you are returned to the exact moment before the decision was made. This time, path A no longer feels right, and you naturally choose path B. All consequences tied to the original decision are wiped away, and a new reality unfolds. That is the reapent cycle. Your entire existence is recorded through what can be described as a time continuance line, created not at birth but at conception, your zero-time reference point. Every experience is recorded on this line. That record can be transferred, meaning consciousness itself can be moved into another body or form while still remaining you, because the record of experience is intact. This record exists on a disk, what some cultures call me stones. These are crystalline storage systems capable of recording and transferring knowledge. In ancient times, these stones could contain entire skill sets, knowledge of healing, art, sexuality, or sciences, that could be loaded into an individual. This is the symbolism behind the tree of knowledge. Crystals are the medium, and ancient civilizations fully understood crystalline technology. The pyramids, for example, were once covered in crystal and specialized stone. They were not merely monuments but interdimensional communication devices. One of their primary functions was to store and transmit cosmic energy and information. Through touch, those with psychometric ability could access the data stored within them. We still use this technology today. Computers, phones, memory systems, all rely on crystal-based storage. Even ultrasounds use sound waves recorded onto crystalline structures, then converted through electrical pulses into images. This technology is ancient, gifted by higher ancestral intelligences. The pineal gland is central to this system. Located deep within the brain, it's associated with the pine cone and works alongside the pituitary gland. It regulates melanin production, especially during shadow hours. That's why excessive shade during the day can disrupt natural hormonal cycles. The eyes themselves function like solar panels, absorbing and converting light into energy. The hypothalamus functions like a receiver, a radio tuned to ancestral frequencies. Our endocrine system doesn't just regulate the physical body, it connects us to higher dimensions and states of existence. Chanting, vibration, and breath stimulate these glands, activating higher perception. The pineal gland sits between the left and right hemispheres of the brain, forming a triadic system: left brain, right brain, and gland. All three must be in alignment. This is the 3-in-1 principle seen throughout ancient symbolism: mother, father, child, Isis, Osiris, Horus. Harmony doesn't mean sameness. It means different frequencies working together toward a shared outcome. This is why division, especially between men and women, is so destructive. A man cannot reach his highest spiritual potential without a woman. Nature transforms the woman first because she remains directly connected to lunar and cosmic cycles. She is still plugged into the planetary network. When evolution shifts, she changes first, and the man transforms through her. That is the natural order. Disharmony blocks ascension. Unity restores it. So as a man, you transform through your woman. That's why it's critical to be in the right situation when it comes to partnership and relationships. If you're a man and your partner isn't spiritual, that becomes a problem. Likewise, if you're a woman and your partner isn't spiritual, that's also a problem. These mismatches create friction and can block growth. This is why love, when misunderstood, can actually become a barrier. Love in the wrong context can prevent elevation. People sometimes make decisions based purely on emotional attachment, even when those decisions go directly against their ascension path. They stay because they love their partner, even though that relationship is pulling them away from who they are meant to become. When transformation comes, you don't want to be left behind simply because you couldn't let go. Sometimes the spiritual path demands difficult choices that may oppose what the heart wants in the moment. That's why prevention is better than cure. It's far better to choose correctly from the beginning than to face painful decisions later. We need to learn how to recognize our soulmates, people on the same frequency, in harmony with us, walking the same path. This is where the 3-in-1 principle becomes important. It's a system of alignment and respect. The triadic gesture you saw represents a way of acknowledging and honoring the ancestral structure. It's not worship, it's recognition. When we engage our ancestors, we're not praying for their sake, they don't need our prayers. The practice is for us. It's spiritual exercise that helps us reconnect and tune back into the correct frequency for our species. We're having a conversation with our ancestors now so that when the moment of transition comes, we'll recognize them, and they'll recognize us. That recognition is important, because not every entity encountered in transition is there to guide. Some exist to mislead or take advantage of ignorance. Proper alignment protects against that. There's also a vibrational requirement. If your frequency is too low, your ancestors can only descend so far. If you haven't refined yourself in the physical realm, you may miss guidance simply because you can't meet them at the level they operate on. The rules are fixed. They don't lower themselves indefinitely, you must rise to meet them. Think of it like birth. Not every child that enters the womb makes it into the world. In the same way, not every soul transitions successfully into the next state of existence. You have to strengthen yourself here so that your light body has enough coherence to survive beyond the physical. Your ancestors guide you, but you must be able to meet them halfway. This is why the 3-in-1 structure appears everywhere. Thought, sound, and energy. Birth, life, and lived experience. The sun rising, the sun at noon, and the sun setting. At the end of the physical journey, what remains is not the body, but the energy you've refined, the experiences encoded as thought and sound. If that refinement hasn't occurred, there may not be enough structure to continue forward, and the soul must return to strengthen itself. The symbolism continues in the body itself. We don't just have two hemispheres of the brain, we also have a secondary brain in the abdominal region. This system must be included in our understanding. Ancient symbols that people now label as foreign or borrowed were originally expressions of this anatomy and energy system, later rebranded through other cultures. The so-called third eye is not mystical fantasy. It corresponds to real structures, the pineal gland and surrounding nasal bones. Sound plays a critical role here. Many modern vocal styles suppress the deeper, resonant tones that naturally vibrate these structures. True chanting and singing originate in the diaphragm, not the throat or nose. When done correctly, sound travels upward and activates the nasal bones, stimulating the pineal region. This is why consistent chanting changes a person's voice over time. It alters resonance, vibration, and internal alignment. Sound becomes a tool to unify the three tones into one coherent system. That coherence opens perception naturally, it doesn't force anything. The pyramids were an external reflection of this same principle. They were tools to harness electromagnetic energy on a planetary scale. What we once built outside ourselves, we now must activate internally. The third eye isn't about mysticism, it's about dimensional awareness. We are both physical and etheric beings, capable of bridging realms without violence, bloodshed, or sacrifice. Any system that demands blood, pain, or sacrifice to function is operating at a lower vibrational level. Nature doesn't require sacrifice to give sunlight, water, or air. Those things are freely provided. When a force demands blood, it reveals its limitation and dependency. Higher systems sustain themselves without feeding on destruction. This is why discernment matters. Many practices labeled as ancient are actually distortions introduced by invaders and later mistaken as original tradition. Time blurs origins, which is why returning to the source, ontology, is essential. Ultimately, mastery means governing your nature, not being ruled by it. We carry multiple aspects within us, but the mind is meant to lead. When intention, action, sound, and alignment come together, the path opens naturally. No fear. No coercion. Just harmony. That's the reality of the situation. You want to stay away from lower forces, and you also need to unlearn what the system has programmed you to believe. The moment you hear the word ancestors, certain images, emotions, and associations immediately surface, mostly negative, drawn from movies, rituals, and distorted portrayals that sit deep in the subconscious. Those images weren't created by accident. In some cultures, certain rituals may have been appropriate for how they connected, depending on who or what they were attempting to contact. But the real question is always, who is controlling them? When you look at our original symbols, there is no requirement for fear, blood, or coercion. Our ancestors are powerful, just as we are powerful in our natural state. Nature doesn't hoard power, it distributes it abundantly. The only issue is whether we've retained the ability to tap into it. That's what the symbol of the three eyes represents, not something external, but our own divine structure. It's a map of us. It reflects our migration, our origin, and our dispersal. According to ancestral records, the NWPU established a base in what is now Antarctica and seeded life through the oceans, carried by marine beings. This is why early humanity is remembered as aquatic, mare people. Even the word mare connects linguistically to ancient terms used to describe pyramidal structures and the third eye system. As humanity migrated, genetic lines were intercepted and altered by different extraterrestrial groups. This led to the emergence of distinct races, or planetary nations. Because of this, we do not all share the same ancestral origin, and that's why spiritual systems differ. What people call religion should align with your genetic lineage. It's a communication system, not a belief system. Using someone else's spiritual practice is like dialing the wrong number or logging into the wrong network. It won't connect you to your ancestors. Melanin itself is an indicator of vibrational capacity. Color reflects energy density. Red vibrates at the slowest end of the spectrum, blue at the fastest. Melanin spans the full range. A lack of color represents lower vibrational energy, while abundance of color represents greater energy potential. Coal, for example, stores massive energy, and when that energy is released, it becomes ash, pale, depleted, low vibration. Over time, coal can transform into diamond, becoming less dense yet more refined. Density decreases as vibration increases. Ice is dense. Water less so. Steam is lighter but more energetic. This principle applies to consciousness as well. The 3-in-1 concept appears everywhere. There are many variations, 4-in-1, 5-in-1, even 7-in-1, depending on the system being explained. These are not separate realities, they only appear separate in the light world. Symbolism exists to describe processes happening beyond our visible spectrum. The sun doesn't actually move across the sky, it only appears to. That symbolism is used to explain unseen processes. Symbols widen perception. They give insight into what's occurring in realms we can't directly observe. This is why ancient images show beings holding pine cones and wearing wrist devices. The pine cone symbolizes the pineal gland. The wrist device symbolizes time. Space, matter, and time are inseparable. You cannot have one without the others. That's the true 3-in-1. Past, present, and future appear separate, but they are actually one continuum. What we call then still exists within now. You were once 5, once 10, once 20, those versions of you still exist as recorded states. Likewise, multiple futures exist, not yet realized, but still part of the same field. The only reason tomorrow feels different from today is because of how we label time. In nature, nothing actually changes at midnight. Perspective determines reality. A circle looks smooth from afar. Zoom in and it becomes a series of squares. Zoom further and it becomes binary code. The thing itself never changed, only your point of view did. The same is true of existence. When you shed the physical body, you are still you, but expressed through a different sheath. Titles change. Forms change. Essence remains the same. Sound is one of the main tools for alignment. The human body has an optimal tone, a major. Male and female voices naturally occupy different tonal ranges, and harmony occurs when those frequencies align correctly. When the body is out of balance, overweight, underweight, or unhealthy, it affects vocal resonance, which then affects how sound interacts with the nervous system and endocrine glands. Proper tonation realigns the body with natural frequency. Instruments like the harmonium are effective because they produce sustained, accurate tones. Sound doesn't just soothe, it restructures. When the left and right hemispheres of the brain synchronize through tone, the pineal gland becomes active, opening the Patara, the divine third eye. The pineal gland itself is not the third eye, it activates it. Once open, perception expands beyond physical sight. Interdimensional awareness becomes possible. Movement through time and space becomes a function of focused thought, not physical travel. Prayer, in its original sense, was not begging. It was structured sound, words used to align the body's internal systems into coherence. When properly activated, this alignment could open portals of communication. Ancestors could be perceived, interacted with, and guided by, not symbolically, but directly. That's what the system was designed to do, reconnect us. The reality is that the universe is multidimensional and multitonal. Our ability to vibrate across the full 9 ether spectrum allows us to move between these dimensions, sometimes at will, sometimes with guidance, sometimes aided by instruments. This is the hidden science behind our spiritual practices. It's not about worshipping a deity, it's about using these symbols and practices as tools to perfect ourselves, while cultivating humility. The idea is that when you gain power, you are both worthy and disciplined, you don't misuse it. Think of a martial artist, someone highly trained in combat doesn't go to a club to show off. They live a disciplined life because they understand the consequences of their strength. The same applies spiritually. The journey is framed to ensure we earn our abilities. Once obtained, these powers are permanent, and the discipline ensures they are not abused. Interdimensional communication and prayer are deeply linked. By aligning the brain, the pineal gland, and the divine eye, Patara, we unlock abilities such as time travel through consciousness. Our memories act as three-dimensional holograms. A smell, taste, sound, or image can instantly transport us back in time, allowing us to relive past events vividly. We perceive it as memory, but in essence, it's a form of time travel. Our perception of time is also culturally conditioned. A day is tied to Earth's rotation, a year is tied to its orbit. These measurements govern how we age, because our biology, including telomere degradation, is synced to these cycles. Gray hair, reduced strength, or declining memory are seen as signs of aging, but if those factors are corrected, what does old even mean? Age is partly perception and context. Consider being in a spaceship beyond Earth's spheres. Without night and day, our internal rhythms would adjust to a new system. Travel at higher speeds than Earth's rotation or orbit, and when returning, the body would effectively be younger than if it had stayed stationary. Time itself bends relative to speed and perspective. The faster you move relative to Earth, the more time compresses for you. Travel beyond light speed, and time can even reverse in perception. This principle also applies internally. Once the left and right hemispheres of the brain, the pineal gland, and the Patara are harmonized, one becomes a time traveler mentally first, and then physically. This is achieved by transforming etheric energy, inner energy, outward, effectively turning oneself inside out energetically. Time is not linear. Past, present, and future are all now. Future can be thought of as clockwise, past is counterclockwise. The planetary rotation and orbit are only markers, time itself is the underlying process. If the directional flow were reversed, aging could theoretically reverse, too. Even biologically, we return toward neutrality over a lifespan. Babies start neutral, then express male or female characteristics as hormones develop. Testosterone gives males their traits, estrogen gives females theirs. Over time, hormone levels balance out. Men naturally become more female biologically as testosterone decreases, and women experience reduced estrogen levels. This mirrors the cyclical nature of existence. We start dependent, gain independence, and often return to a form of dependence in old age. The spiritual journey mirrors this natural cycle. It's about understanding, discipline, and alignment with natural law, allowing us to access the full spectrum of existence, including time, memory, and multidimensional awareness. So, what are you at the core? Are you still a man, a woman, or have you reached a more balanced state, closer to the neutral gender we started as? This mirrors how our species began. Individually, collectively, and as a species, we move through the same cycles, experiencing the same changes. These patterns are reflected in our development and referenced by the masters. They are one and the same, just observed from different perspectives. Now, regarding dimensions, you, as a three-dimensional being, are ready to experience your fourth-dimensional self, the etheric self. The first three dimensions are length, width, and depth, or height. The fourth dimension is time. This is a critical aspect of what was called Project 24, where 12 DNA lines from Orion, male DNA, and 12 from Sirius, female DNA, were integrated into our species. The goal of this 24,000-year cycle was to master our natural abilities, including time travel, but distractions and interferences prevented full completion. Our intelligence and unique abilities, what make humans different from other animals, are a result of this engineered design, encoded in our DNA. The pineal gland, or third eye, located between the hemispheres of the brain, is central to these abilities. When activated, it produces melatonin, the master secret of our divine being. Here, secret is not just a hidden truth, it comes from the word secrete, pointing to the pineal gland's function of secreting melatonin. Proper activation transforms us, reconnecting our mortal form to our divine essence. The pineal gland is symbolized as the pine cone, an evergreen that does not degrade through the seasons. This represents a state outside of time, a constant, unchanging energy. By transcending the environmental cycles and constraints that dictate aging, we begin to redefine what old really means. The degradation we associate with aging is not absolute. It is influenced by our biology, environment, and perception. Modern society has manipulated time, perception, and energy. Modern systems are designed to lock people into a uniform vibration, a single mode, keeping us aligned with external authority rather than our natural, expansive potential. The ancients understood the electromagnetic spectrum, time, and perception far better than contemporary systems acknowledge. Returning to this knowledge allows us to regain control of our own timeline, both individually and collectively. The masters demonstrated the practical use of this knowledge. The pineal gland governs time perception, and the tools of awareness, like symbols, alignment, and focus, allow the directed use of third eye energy. Even devices we consider modern, like wristwatches, existed in the past as tools for measuring and maintaining fixed points while moving through dimensions or tracking time internally. What seems new is often just a recreation of ancient wisdom. In short, the path is about reclaiming our natural balance, understanding the true meaning of time and aging, and activating the powers inherent within us: melatonin secretion, third eye perception, and interdimensional awareness. These practices are not about worship, they are about mastering the self and, through that mastery, connecting with the divine potential encoded in our species.